Walking back to my roots. That's what I had in mind filming this video. But this time it will be different, at least different from what I usually make about my huntings. When I started this journey I was after the same passionate picture that I usually serve. But as I walked this long road, my will slowly changed. So first of all, it will be much longer than usual, much less talking, and zero music. Probably it will not be as exciting as usual, but gives back much more from the memory I have with me about this month spent in the woods alone or with my son. So sit back, enjoy and relax. Step into the world of 18th century trekking and hunting with me. The film is again a mashup of many days of hunting, so the scenes are filmed on different days and in different locations. This is not about survival, but nor it is reenacting. What you see here is the closest I get to experience the way the long hunters stalked the woods of North America in the late 18th century. Probably just playing cowboys and Indians, reviving memories from my childhood. But to be honest, I don't really care. I just enjoy this whole story. Muzzle loading, regardless if you're a shooter, hunter, collector, or all of this, is a continuous learning process. Each black powder round supplies loads of inspiration for digging deeper in history. And when you're actually researching a firearm, at the end you arrive to the women and men who use them. Historical tracking is an excellent experimental platform for this journey in time. Hunting in 18th century gear is far from comfortable, and nor it is practical. There is much better equipment for outdoor activities. So why do I walk the woods in a long hunter outfit? My answer is very simple. I do not hunt to feel comfortable. Fatigue, pain, thirst are the feelings that help imprinting a long-lasting memory of a successful hunt. These are the key elements in valuing a good rest, relief from backache, or fresh cold water from a spring. Do you remember the pure taste of water when you were playing with your friends on the streets as a kid? That memory is much stronger than any cold beer today. I guess that's what I'm after. These scenes were filmed on the first longer, one full day trekking with the full gear on, far from the main road, deep in the heart of the forests of my beloved country, Hungary. That's the first rest after 8 kilometers, still feeling comfortable. I made a few shorter trips to fine-tune the pack frame, so it does not hurt your back or legs. The weight of the complete set is not more than 15 kilograms, but still it is a pleasure to put it down. One good advice: when you use a frame for the first time, have a saw with you to cut off the unnecessary parts. The pack frame is an excellent addition to a historical set. They are very easy and cheap to make, and there are many designs to follow. The one I made is probably the easiest to construct. The wood is cheap pine wood. The frame is attached with wooden pegs to avoid the use of modern screws, and the straps are made from canvas and leather. With minimal woodworking experience, it can be made in a few hours. The route I planned for that day was actually a round trip to get back to a small hill close to my log cabin. I planned to spend the afternoon and the night there to prepare for the huntings in the next days. The campsite itself is on the top of the hill and it is not really protected from the elements, but it has a beautiful view. I do prefer more protected places to spend the night, but I knew that the weather will be fine that day. If you have fire, you have everything. Learning to make fire with contemporary tools is also a good skill to get closer to our ancestors, and also a use for modern time survival too. There are many authentic ways to light your tinder, like the flint and steel or the bow drill. A less popular method is using a fire piston, that is utilizing the heat of high pressure air to ignite charcoal wool. Whichever method you use, the story starts with making a nest for the tinder. I use birchwood bark here. It is easy to ignite and burns hot even in a bad weather due to its high oil content. The next important accessory is the charcoal wool that you have to make for yourself. My piston is turned from brass and it is sealed with greased O-rings. It is time for lunch. A very simple lunch made from potato, onions and bacon. Even if there are no exotic spices, it just cannot be better if you are hungry. I always carry a special dish in my pack. It is called discos from Matra, probably an invention of the region where my log cabin is. It fries, cooks and steams the ingredients, uniting the flavors and keeping the juices inside. Keep it in the low intensity fire for 20 to 30 minutes and you are ready. It's a simple food for the poor man of the woods. Now it is time to cast some lead balls for the rifle. I always had my kit for such work in my pack as well. The best tinder you can have for fire making is charcoal wool. It is easy to make and smolders hot. It's not rocket science to make it. You will need small squares of good quality linen and a small metal box with a hole on the top. Put it in the ashes and leave it there till it is not smoking anymore through the hole. We have very strict rules in Hungary about the rifle and load we can use for hunting. You have to have a hunting license and an additional black powder hunting license as basis. Your rifle must be CIP proved, must have a caliber of 54 or larger, a minimum barrel length of 45 cm. Your charge has to be over 2,500 joules of muzzle energy for big game like red deer, mouflon, fallow deer and wild boar, and 1,000 joule for roe deer. My charge for the Pedersol Jaeger flintlock rifle is 100 grains of 2F Swiss powder and the Lee 300 grain real bullet. Although the rifle has a slow twist rate, it is still accurate with short conicals. This charge delivers a muzzle energy of 2,650 joules. This virus thing had its benefits. Most important is that I could spend much more time with my kids. I'm a lucky father having a daughter and a son. My son Sebastian is only 8, but he's already a great help in filming. In fact, many of the scenes you see here were recorded by him. The following part is a sketch of the memories we had together in the woods. We returned time by time to the same spot together to get a young wild boar. Once we had a very lucky encounter with good light in the middle of the afternoon. The distance was a little more than 80 meters, so I tried to steal a few meters to get closer. But I just did not have a clear aim. They spotted me and ran into the bushes. These kind of encounters are very rare, probably happens once a year. Blowing it in front of your kid is not the best feeling, but that's how hunting is. Another thing to learn. So we stalked another 40 minutes together and sat on a high stand nearby. These occasions are just perfect to understand the circle of life. Just 20 minutes we were waiting when a young male roe deer arrived. It was out of question that we will not shoot, but it offered a good chance to talk about the development of the antler and the aging of the roe deer. These days also showed the benefits of the blanket coat. No matter how good my son's jacket was, he always ended up in my capote. And that's the last day of my story. Stalking again to the same spot where we encountered the wild boars before. There were several occasions when I heard them after sunset, but I was never able to risk a shot. Even if the wind was strong, the direction was just excellent for that position. On the way to the location, I spotted a 6-7 years old roe deer. When you're hunting with the camera, getting the game in the picture is often a waste of valuable time. Another missed chance, but I was anything but sad. I knew that this spot is one of the best for short-range shots. The female red deer was excited. I'm sure that she already heard something coming from the bushes to the right. She was a good sign of other game moving nearby. Storm clouds were gathering, and the light slowly started to die out. I only had a few minutes left from the open sight hunting chances when 2 young wild boars rushed out from the woods and started to feed on the scattered corn. There was my chance finally. Even if I was right on target, I was not able to record any sign of hit. The boar to the left I aimed at jumped a little, but it was not a clear mark of a good hit. I waited 15 minutes in uncertainty, then I checked the spot. It is always advisable to let the boar lay down and not start to chase it. It was nearly dark when I checked the spot and found a good blood trail getting stronger and stronger leading downwind. Following a wild boar always gives me a shiver, and to tell you the truth I never do it if it's an adult size game. Luckily, the cold dead boar was just 50-60 meters away, showing a good hit. So that's the end of the story for a while now. But before we go on to the next video, I would like to show you my gear, my nearly 18th century gear, which developed a lot during these 2 months that I spent in the woods with my son and alone. First of all, that's a tricorn. That's classical 18th century headwear. I just love it. I don't know how, when I bought it and where, but it's good. It works. I have this long hunter shirt that I ordered from the US many years ago. It's nice, comfortable, and I just love the style. Very simple. It's a real poor man's clothes. I just love it. The trousers. I started in jeans, but later I made these buckskin trousers for myself with antler buttons. Everything was made by hand. Well, it used to be much more cleaner than this, but that many kilometers of walk and stalking in the woods just had his mark on the trousers. I don't know how I'm going to clean it, but we'll see. Then I have my pipe bag. It's a newest addition to my gear with my corn pipe. And also this is where I keep my spare batteries for the cameras, and I also keep my documents in this stuff. Comfortable, good. Just love it. I have my rifle case, also from deerskin. I made it, I don't know how many years ago. Still works fine and looks good. Everything is fringed. I love fringes. And then I have my pack frame. This pack frame was also made by me and modified during this whole trip. I have my water bottle. I just love this water bottle. It holds nearly 1 liter of water, which can be enough for one day. But if you buy this stuff, then avoid the cheap ones, because the cheap ones can be welded with lead, which is poisonous. So I have my haversack. This is where I keep my personal belongings and also the stuff I need for camp life, like food. That's the most important one. I will show you later what's inside. I have my blanket roll, which is a capote roll. This is a capote that I sew from Swiss wool blanket, military wool blanket, which is probably the best quality wool blanket. I know it's not authentic. We should use a 4-point blanket here. I have my capote from a 4-point blanket as well. But I just love the color as this one. And I have my shelter half here. This is in fact the repro of a Civil War shelter half, which is just enough for one man stalking. This is from a stiff material. It's a waterproof material. It's a modern material, not the original, but still it's good. It's canvas, impregnated canvas. And here is the pack frame, completely made by hands. I had to make some modifications to it because it was really uncomfortable when I first started to use it. So this is why these corners are cut off. Also, I'm using a little belt here that is protecting my shoulder and my back. But otherwise it's good. So after the last modifications, I really have to say that it was comfortable. And of course there are better backpacks. So it's out of question that a 20th century, 21st century backpack now is more comfortable than this one. But it actually works. Not bad. Not bad at all. And the other gear I have, the accessories of the rifle. First of all, this is a powder horn I just made. This is a golden age powder horn. I started with a different powder horn, which was just too large and just too clumsy for the kind of hunt that I usually do. So I replaced it with this shorter one. Then I have my tomahawk in the tomahawk case and the belt I made for this job. The belt buckle here is a reproduction of an 18th century belt buckle used by the Grenzjäger regiments of the Austro-Hungarian monarchy. The Scharfschützen, or the sharpshooters, used that kind of belt to be able to get rid of the accessories very fast. I just love it. This is very comfortable, very easy to use. The tomahawk itself is a modification of a trail hawk by Cold Steel. And I made some modifications with the file on it to completely follow, or not completely, but to closely follow the lines of the 18th century tomahawks. And this is for use, so this is not just decoration. I just added some bandage here. I don't know why, it looks good. And I gave some color to the handle as well. It's good, I love it. I also made one for my son. Here is his set. This is waiting for coloring, for staining. Of course, this is shorter than mine. And let's see what else we have here. Of course, we have the possible bag. Well, that's an early European design, not really American, but I just love the form. This is not too practical for hunting because it's loud, so it should be from a softer material, but I can live with that right now. What's inside, I will show you later. And we have the rifle here. That's a Pedersoli Jäger target rifle, so it was designed for shooting 100-meter competition. It's very, very accurate with round balls, and it's fairly accurate with conical balls as well. Short conicals like the Lee real bullet with 300 grains weight. What I love about the Pedersoli Jäger rifle is that the lock is very reliable, very simple and very reliable, and also the rifle is robust, so you just trust that it's a good rifle. It has a patch box where I keep my touch hole cleaning pin. Let me show you what's inside my possible bag. First of all, I have a knife here, real authentic knife. I don't really use this, to tell you the truth, but it looks good on the side of this European style hunting bag. That's an 18th century style, not really matching the other parts of the outfit, but it just looks good. This was made from a rasp by a friend of mine many years ago. Comfortable, but somehow I don't really use it. Inside we have bullets, of course, and also some speed loading tubes made from brass that I have in the pouch. I have 3 of these. It has 2 containers, 2 parts. One is holding the powder. Here is the powder. It is stopped by a felt lead. And the other end holds the bullet, the patched bullet, which is wrapped in a triangular patch, so you can easily grab the corners of the patch when you're loading the charge. We have modern stuff here. That's a saw that I use for cutting the bones of the game. You can do that with a knife as well, but then you have to resharpen your knife too often. So I use this saw to do the hard job. Then we have here a little not so authentic leather pouch for holding spare flints, jags and bullet puller, and also some cleaning patches. This one has to be replaced by a more authentic one later. What more we have here? Oh yeah. Here's a patch knife. It's a really nice little knife that is hanging in your neck, but to be honest, I don't really use this. And I don't really like when there are too many things hanging in my neck, so I seldom have it with me, but it looks good. But it's just for decoration. But this one is useful. The brush is for cleaning your pen, and the pin is for cleaning your touch hole. Also an authentic 18th century design. Oh yeah. And that's a powder horn made from antler I made a few years ago. Now this is a spring valve, and it's just perfect for adding the exact amount to your pen what is necessary. Do you recognize this? This little container was made for the Mosin Nagant rifles. One side was holding the normal oil for lubricating the bore, the other side was holding a special oil to compensate the acidic effect of the military primers of that day. Now, I use one side for oil now, and the other side for a patch lube called patch milk. That's a mixture, a special mixture that just improves the accuracy of your rifle. We have a powder measure here. That's a repro of an 18th century powder measure. It's actually a copy of a powder measure, volumetric powder measure, that I found in an old rifle from the 18th century. It was an old military rifle. This is a very simple design. You have a wooden plug here, which you can just mark the powder that you need for different distances, and it is stopped by this key style screw. Largest quantity it can give is 110 grains. Enough for anything. Oh yeah, I have one more little tool here. That's a bullet starter. And that's it. That's the last one. And also there's one more bag that you usually don't see on my videos, because I have to remove it to get access to my camera. So this is where I hold my modern stuff for filmmaking. This is also, the design is 19th century design. It's far from the 18th century, but still kind of close to a historical pattern. What's inside? GoPro. 2 spare lenses for my camera. This is what I love most. This is a fixed 50mm lens. This is just excellent for low light filming. And this is a tele lens, which is good for showing you the game. I have my binos. By law in Hungary, if you're hunting for big game, you have to have a bino with you. So I keep it in the modern stuff. I have a first aid kit. This is also necessary by Hungarian laws. I have a flashlight. That's very useful when it's dark. Of course, we can be fully authentic, but if you're hunting, then you have to see what's happening first. Second, you really have to show yourself with a flashlight, so nobody's going to shoot you if you're in the woods. I also have a knife. That's a Mora, very simple and very cheap Mora knife for cleaning the game, for opening and cleaning the game. I don't use the same knife as I use for eating, so this is just for cleaning the game. And I also have my sharpeners here. This is for fine work, this is for rough work. And I have a whistle, a thermometer, and a compass here, which is a useful tracking tool. Let me show you what's inside my Personalia. That's my lead casting kit. I have what you already saw. I have my lead ladle. I have my mold here. It's an old skisser mold made by Rapine, I guess, and some spare lead. I have my fire making kit here with charcoal wool, flint, tinder, steel of course, and my fire piston. You already saw how to use this stuff. I have my eating kit. A metal plate. And my Hungarian folding knife. I just don't use the same knife that I use for cleaning the game. I just use this one for eating. For cooking and frying, I have this special tool that you also already saw in the video, which is called Discos from Mátra. Mátra is the mountains where I have my little house, and this kind of metallic dish is quite traditional there. It's actually steaming the food what's inside, and it makes beautiful flavor because it just unites the flavor of the different ingredients very easily and quickly. This is enough for 3 or 4 persons as well. That's good stuff. Tobacco for my pipe. That's a not so authentic rifle cleaning kit. A rifle cleaning kit for a machine gun, I guess Swiss or Austrian, I don't really know. It has a ramrod, which you can see here. From parts you can assemble nearly 1 meter long ramrod. It has M5 threads, so it is compatible with the Pedersoli accessories like the brushes or the jags. It has a very good handle, so you can even unload your rifle easily with this stuff. And it has 2 bottles, one for grease, one for oil. It's good. I'm going to replace this casing to a leather one, the more traditional one, so probably it will look a bit better than this. So ladies and gentlemen, thank you very much for watching. You have been watching the capandball YouTube channel. If you like what I do, then please subscribe and also like this video. If you wish and you can, please support me through Patreon. You can find the link to the Patreon site under the video in the description as well. You can also support us by buying our family venture made products. These are the American Civil War cartridge boxes, percussion revolver cartridge boxes. They are authentic copies of Civil War time cartridge boxes. We also have 36 and 44 caliber percussion revolver cartridge formers for you, which allows you to make beautiful paper cartridges for your revolver. And we also have our US Arsenal Stadias 19th century rangefinders in production. They are also available in our eBay store and in our web shop as well. So ladies and gentlemen, until next time, stay cool and keep your powder dry.